実はね、そこのポケモンセンターで待ち合わせしてるのよ。
誰と？
パパとよ。
パパと？
サトシも来てくれる？
行く行く。で、いつなの？
それが急なんだけどね。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokemon The Distant Blue Sky, a special episode that doesn't really take place in the normal continuity of the Pokemon anime, but it was a nice story about Ash and Pikachu. If you need help trying to watch this episode, come on over to my Discord server and we can help you find it there. But for now, let's talk about what happened. So we start with Ash swimming in a river, and he gets bumped into by this kid who somehow angered a wild Gyarados, which is now Ash's problem. He manages to avoid getting eaten and springs out of the water, where Pikachu meets him ready to battle. They jump and dodge Gyarados' attack, and Ash calls for Thunderbolt, which of course lands massive damage. To my surprise, Ash actually attempted to catch Gyarados, and the Pokeball shakes 3 times, but Gyarados manages to break free and swim away, not wanting to be caught. Ash and Pikachu are left empty-handed, along with the other kid from before. There wasn't any special opening to this, so instead the narrator just gives us the same generic spiel about Ash and Pikachu as the credits come on screen, while Ash battles this other trainer in the background. Eventually, Machamp goes for a Hyper Beam, but Pikachu easily dodges and KOs it with Thunderbolts. The 2 trainers part ways, and Ash ends up at a nearby Pokemon Center where he calls his mother on the telephone, or video phone thing. She tells Ash to head to Tonari Town. I tried to look this up to see if it was an actual place, but I think it's just a made-up anime-exclusive town. The closest thing I found was Neighborly Town, which is called Tonarino Town in Japanese. I thought it was pretty funny that they were so close. Anyways, Ash's mother says that she's meeting Ash's father there and wants to know if Ash could make it, although he'll be there tomorrow, so it's going to be pretty short notice. Ash excitedly accepts and takes off, hanging up on his mother before she was even finished talking to him. Ash is excited to see his father again, and hey, something seems suspicious about these characters in the background. Oh my gosh, would you believe it? It's Team Rocket. They say that they're going to get ahead of the twerp and steal Pikachu, so we'll see how that goes. Ash and Pikachu walk along the path to Tonari Town, and they pass a lot of rocks that have Gengar etched into them, which means something is up with this place. The path leads to this tree, and Ash walks through it, almost like it's a cave or a tunnel. On the other side is a forest packed with wild Pokemon. It's almost like Ash just entered another world by going through that tunnel. Ash ends up staying the night in some tree hollow, snuggled up next to Pikachu as he falls asleep. A Lickitung gives him a rather abrupt awakening in the morning, and Ash is shocked to see that Pikachu is missing. Out of nowhere, some random kid shows up and offers to show Ash where Pikachu went. Along the way, he explains that some weird guys in weird suits stole Pikachu, so we know what that means. Cut to Team Rocket celebrating their successful mission by figuring out how they're going to split this tiny little biscuit between the 4 of them. Ash arrives to stand up to Team Rocket, who claim that without the key, Ash will never get Pikachu back. Team Rocket ends up getting undone by one of their many flaws. They have to say the motto, which was executed perfectly, except for the fact that Ash just walked up and grabbed the key while they were performing the motto. Fantastic. With Pikachu free, Team Rocket fear for their lives, and yeah, sure enough, they're blasting off again. Ash thanks his new friend for helping save Pikachu, and when Ash asks for his name, he says it's Haruto. Ash goes in for a handshake, but Haruto just blanks him, instead talking about Pikachu. Apparently, Haruto has never touched a Pokemon before, so Ash fills him in on what it's like. They decide to explore the forest and find some Pokemon for Haruto to touch, which just gets our brash hero in a lot of trouble with the wild Pokemon, which was pretty funny. Ash eventually finds a Kakuna, thinking he finally found a Pokemon that won't run away, but it turns out that Ash is going to be the one running away this time since he just walked right into a Beedrill nest. The ensuing chase scene ends up with Ash and Pikachu crash landing in a bush to avoid the swarm of Beedrill, but now they're feeling hungry. Haruto leads them to a berry patch, which is right outside this house, where it looks like some guy is painting pictures of the sky, like a lot of paintings of the sky. Ash hears something nearby. It turns out to be this random woman who looks very surprised to see Ash, and this served as our dramatic cutoff halfway through the episode to cut to commercial. Ash apologizes for wandering out of their property, but Haruto has seemingly disappeared. Huh, that's strange. The couple who lives at this house are a little confused, with the woman saying that she knew it couldn't have been, but... and yeah, if you hadn't figured out the twist yet, this was when I did. Anyways, this woman helps Ash pick some berries and even throws in some loaves of bread for the road. The second Ash leaves the house, guess who shows back up? It's Haruto. Okay. They stop for lunch, but Ash's mysterious friend declines his offer to share the food, so instead he just sits back and admires the sky. After their meal, Haruto takes Ash and Pikachu over to where this group of Mankey are, and one of them is wearing Haruto's hat. I guess they stole it from him. Ash is like, oh, I've been through this before, leave it to me. Sure enough, he does get Haruto's hat back, but the Mankey is all sad about it. Ash decides to cheer the Mankey up by just handing handing over his own hat, and just as Ash runs off to return the hat to Haruto, this kid starts walking away, and seemingly every time Ash catches up with him, Haruto is already around the next corner. This eventually leads Ash back to the house he was at before, where the same couple are about to head out on a walk together. But when they see the hat Ash has, they start to freak out, and Ash is like, well, Haruto told me to get it back, and this just kind of freaks them out even more. Ash asks if they know Haruto, and yeah, if you haven't figured it out yet, these are Haruto's parents. They invite Ash into their home and tell him that their son died from an illness a year ago, too young to even start his own Pokemon journey. Since Haruto loved the sky so much, all his father has been able to paint since his death has been the sky, and Ash points out the painting that Haruto told him was his favorite. Haruto's mother explains that losing their son has made her appreciate the little things in life, telling these ordinary comforts, thank you. Later, it's time for Ash to head out, and Haruto's dad says that he's going to paint more than just the sky now, he's going to paint all the Pokemon in the forest that his son loves so much. As they're remembering their son, guess who force coasts their way into the scene? Haruto smiles and gives them an approving nod before vanishing again. Ash eventually finds Haruto again in the path and is like, hey, you never got to touch any Pokemon today, and lets Haruto attempt to touch Pikachu, but yeah, the whole Haruto being dead thing kinda makes that impossible. But then, and honestly I have no clue what was happening here, Ash gives Haruto a hug and then lets him touch Pikachu through his hand, and somehow this works, transferring the feelings to Haruto the ghost, who says that Pikachu feels exactly like Ash explained to him earlier. With that, Haruto disappears for the last time, and Ash walks through another tunnel that takes him out of that clearly mystical and or haunted forest. Then, and oh, you'll never believe this one, Ash sees the exact same sky that Haruto says was his favorite, and remembers what Haruto's mother said and tells Pikachu, thank you. Cut to later that day, and Ash has arrived at the Pokemon Center, but he missed his dad. Apparently, he had to leave early, so the mystery of Ash's father continues. He did leave Ash a gift, though. It's a new hat. I don't think I pointed it out earlier, but Ash did say that he really wanted some of his mom's croquettes, and luckily for him, she makes a ton for dinner. These sketchy onlookers watch as their stomachs growl, but fortunately for them, there's extra. For some reason, Ash is brought to tears while eating his meal. I guess this whole experience with Haruto has made him appreciate his family a little more. The next day, Ash has to run off because apparently Entei showed up nearby. We never actually see it though, which is too bad. Ash runs off and Team Rocket aren't far behind, thanking Ash's mother for the croquettes as they pass her. The episode comes to a close with Ash continuing to chase his dream, and the narrator uses the same line as he did in last week's Journeys finale, saying that if he says Ash's journeys will continue, then continue they will. I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10 rating. This was some wholesome Pokemon content, very fitting for this time of year since a lot of these holiday shows and movies tend to center around family and appreciating life, and those were the two main themes in this special episode as well. I don't really have a whole lot of analysis about this one, to be honest. I could have easily done without this special, and I probably won't remember it in the long run, but since we now know that Ash and Pikachu are leaving the anime as the main characters, any chance to see them go on another adventure is something I'll happily watch. Just some interesting things to note about this episode was that only Generation 1 Pokemon appeared, well, aside from Wobbuffet, but this episode just wouldn't have been possible without this legend. Entei was mentioned at the end, but it never appeared, so that doesn't really count. Entei was an interesting choice of Pokemon though, since that scene pretty closely mirrored the beginning of I Choose You when Ash ran out into the woods after hearing that a ton of trainers were trying to find Entei nearby. Speaking of the alternate universe movies, Ash started this episode wearing an AU hat, but the new one that his dad gave him had the same design as his hat from the original series. Let's talk about Ash's dad. I think the anime had the same mindset as I did. Let's tease Ash's father because we know it'll get views. So sorry for the clickbaity title and thumbnail. This was the first time that the anime has acknowledged that Ash's father is still alive and that he was willing to meet up with Ash's mother, so that's something, I guess. Let's stop talking about Ash's parents and switch to Haruto's parents since they gave us the important message to take from this episode. And if I could, let me try and apply their lesson by saying thank you to each and every person watching this video. 2022 wasn't exactly the greatest year of my life, and sometimes I wonder why I put so much time and effort into all this Elite Trainer Mark stuff, but then I am constantly reminded why. It's getting to interact with all of you, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitter, and especially the people in my Discord server. Thank you for making my life special, and I hope we can keep on being friends. I guess that's where I'll wrap up this discussion. The episode was fine. I really think it was just a basic story fit for the holidays, and happy holidays to all of you. This video is going out on Christmas Eve for me, and hopefully I'll be able to post one more video before the end of the year. It'll be a big one, so I hope you're looking forward to it. Actually, I already know one other video I'll put up before this year is over. I did one of these compilations last year, and I'm currently working on putting the best best clips together from all my 2022 videos. After that, I'll be working on some more content, wrapping up Journeys, discussing the aim to be a Pokemon Master series when that comes out, and whatever else I decide to make. More ranking videos are on their way as well, don't think I forgot about that. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of those. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.